Hi everyone, I'm Peter Wolf of Azamba, and today we're going to talk about my favorite topic, CRM adoption. So today specifically we're going to talk about how you can go slower to reach your goals faster. So how does that work? Let's talk about that. So I'm not sure if you're aware, but 40 to 70% of CRM projects fail, which means that after 12 to 18 months, they're not in use or they're barely being used. They're being used as a glorified Rolodex. So not a lot of value is being received, if any at all. That's a failure by most accounts. And what's really disheartening about those numbers is that most people are looking at CRM because they have a desperate need to change the way they do things. So improve processes, streamline information, get all the information in your company in one place so that everyone knows what's going on, so that you can respond to customers faster, more accurately, and generally have higher quality results in a more efficient way. So those are the reasons why you're getting CRM. And there's usually a lot of competitive pressures that you're feeling that makes you want to get CRM to do those things, to have that digital transformation, if you will. And so the real cost of failure is the time that you lose. So you have a need that you need to address immediately. You spend 12 to 18 months and that solution that you've implemented goes belly up. And that's a problem because you've just lost 12 to 18 months. And as you've done that, your competition is presumably getting better, getting stronger, outmaneuvering you. So those are all very valid concerns to have. And that's why we focus on adoption at Azamba. We've learned hard lessons over the last 20 years through 400 to 500 implementations. I actually think we crossed our 500th implementation a while back. I've lost count. But the gist of it is we learn from what we do. And we have a very structured, proven out methodology that we support with 100% money back guarantee. And the way we do that in a world where there's 40 to 70% failure rates is because we know what we're doing. And partly one of the philosophies that we have is that drives all of our behavior and all of our customer adoption strategies is crawl, walk, run. Pretty simple. And we've talked about less is more in a previous video, and you should go check that out if you haven't already. But the idea is to start simple, keep your scope small, keep your budget small, get a quick win. So you want to get a quick return on investment, make sure that people start using the system, and then once you start using the system, then get real world feedback, get your team engaged. A lot of people talk about, oh, we want to hear from the salespeople, and we want to hear from the people that are going to use the software. We want to make sure that we meet their needs. We want to get them involved in the process. But literally, most companies come to us, they tell us, we don't know what we don't know. And how can you know it until you start to use it? And so as long as you pick a good system, and I did a video last week about how to pick the perfect CRM, you should go check that one out too. But how do you pick the perfect system? And once you get the system, how do you get those quick wins? How do you get it adopted? Because I could demo CRM to you 100 times and you still won't understand it until you start using it daily. So that's a real concern that you should have. So what you want to do is start with the smallest footprint possible, get that up and running. And like I said, I already covered that, so I'm not going to go into that small footprint. But the idea is to get it installed, get real world feedback, and show your team that their input matters. And what we encourage people to do is you go to your sales reps, your customer service reps, whoever's using the software, and say, hey, we know this isn't perfect. Tell us what you want to see. So we have this idea of a wish list. So you create a wish list for your people, almost like an old-fashioned employee suggestion box. You encourage them to put suggestions in. No suggestion is awful. And you'll start to hear feedback if you have a truly open and welcoming environment where people will say, well, I wish this field was over here. So it might be something simple like that. Or I wish I had a automation so that when I send a proposal, it automatically reminded me in 2 days to follow up. Now that's great. That makes my day easier as a sales rep. Or maybe it's more sophisticated than that. Maybe it's, I want a report that shows me all my customers who purchased something 12 months ago but haven't purchased anything since then. So give me a list of actionable data that I can use to find more sales. So start with the simple thing, create that wish list, and create a culture of improvement and iteration. And your iterations might be once a year. It might be once a week. So we have different sized customers with different appetites for technology investment, for different paces that they want to move at. So if you're one of those customers who wants to move a little bit slower, you can. The idea though is to show your team that you are going to evolve the system. It's not stuck where it is, so you can cut off the complaints and the lack of usage and the just, I hate to say it, but passive aggressive lack of adoption. If it's a struggle for me as a sales rep, I'm not going to do it. I'm a salesperson, so I'm just telling you straight up. If you give me a system that's clunky and hard to use, I'm not going to really want to complain about it. I'll just pretend to use it, and I have plenty of sales friends who go in once a month in their CRM system and just dump in all their data before their bosses run the reports. That's not really getting any value out of your CRM. So you want to make it easy to use, create that smaller footprint, let me adopt the software real fast, keep it so simple that even a guy like me can figure it out and start using it. And then encourage me to give feedback. Come to me and say, hey, I know it's not working perfectly. Tell me what you'd like. And so I'll give you that feedback. Then when I see that you've implemented some of those suggestions, I know that you truly have my best interests at heart. And that's where the walking and the running come into play. Now, another part of walking and running is a lot of people will go into CRM and they will get the CRM up and running and they'll think, job's done. Now we're going to be using CRM. We encourage our customers to take a longer view of CRM than that. It's not a destination, it's a journey. And that's kind of a cliche, but it's really true with CRM because most modern CRMs like Microsoft Dynamics or our lower end version, the smaller Get Starter Pack, the CRM in a can, designed for SMBs, they can grow to meet your needs and they can evolve so quickly. So you could start off with basic MVP, the minimum viable product, where you're tracking accounts, contacts, activities, opportunities, maybe service tickets. But then you can do really cool things with these software. So you can completely streamline and automate and overhaul your entire process and make sure that no one misses a trick, that everybody's doing what they need to do, and the system is there as a personal assistant to all of us to remind us of things and actually do some things for us. And with the advent of AI coming, the Microsoft products, both the Microsoft Dynamics 365 CRM modules and our CRM in a can modules, they will support the ChatGPT, the AI, the Copilot, Microsoft brands it, and that is going to create crazy efficiencies and economies of scale as we move forward into this brave new future of AI. So that's the philosophy. Start simple, crawl, get that up and running, and then create a feedback loop where you iterate and start to walk, and then you start to run before you know it. And we're not just talking about this. We don't just tell people to do this. We did this ourselves. We're still doing it. Once a month, we'll get together and we'll sit around the table and say, what little things do we want to implement? And you don't have to do everything at once. You do small bite-sized projects, keep the scope small. For every iteration, every step forward, you're just taking a small step forward. And before you know it, you've gone 100 steps, 500 steps, 1,000 steps from where you started. And that's how you get and maximize your return on investment with CRM. So hopefully this was helpful. And if you have any questions or comments, or you want to see a certain topic gone into in more detail, please comment below or hit me up on LinkedIn. I'm hoping this helped. Thanks for your time today. Bye, y'all.